Remember that religion I was talking about?
Remember that religion I was talking about?
What?
Heaven's gonna take you to heaven.
7 minutes in heaven. I still got it!
Back.
Can we have that as a new segment where you get to talk about whatever you want for 7 minutes and it's
we
called
get to
7
throw
minutes
things
in
at you.
Let's do it right now. You have to, I'm making more work for you. Make a little sting.
7 minutes in heaven.
Go.
Oh.
I just don't think I can talk for 7 minutes.
You have to.
Wait.
And do you start a timer, Ben?
Yep.
This is there's no way I can.
Shut up, Evan, and talk. Ready, set, go.
Hello everybody.
6, 7. We've got 10 seconds on the board. Come on.
I feel like, like I've been put on the spot a bit. Is anyone interested in anything that I could talk about?
What have you? Anything?
You talk about your interests.
What? I could talk about networking.
Go.
We recently got a new network switch for upstairs, so it was exciting. We got a Netgear M4250, the Netgear AV line, which is it's good because we're running a lot of AV over our network at the moment. All our cameras and audio is run over the network, and so we got a dedicated network switch for that, which is optimized and designed for AV over IP. So that's it's exciting. We run that as an isolated network with its own IP range and sort of subnet going on for all our NDI stuff, so that it can't interfere with other things. And then, we do run Dante on the other sort of general network on the Cisco switch. But that's neither here nor there. Dante's pretty low bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
How long is it?
Don't talk to me. You got the floor. You've been going for a minute and a half.
Jesus Christ. Yep. But Dante. Not only is it low bandwidth, but it's got quite good QoS controls, so you can elevate it above everything else, and it won't interfere with the rest of the network, and it won't let the rest of the network interfere with that if your switch is set up properly. So that's the handy thing about Dante. They're bringing out Dante AV, which is a video over Dante, but it's not as compressed as NDI. You got to run into like 800 megabits a second for a single HD feed, and that's too much for the kind of purposes that we have. And it's also not built into things like vMix, which we use for switching, whereas NDI is. It's much more practical, even if it is compressed, But it'll have its place. Dante, there's more hardware. As more hardware manufacturers, pick it up and integrate it into their products. It'll start to get a foothold, but I still think NDI is gonna lead that little horse race. It's already got such a big lead thanks to the pandemic. Really gave it a boost in 2020. NDI 5 is coming out soon. They said it was going to be out in June, but it's not out yet. We're all eagerly awaiting NDI 5's release. There's some cool stuff coming with NDI 5. You better choose which NIC that the NDI uses at the moment. You can't choose, and it'll just use whichever NIC it likes and go all over the network, and that's not very. It's fine in some situations, but in situations like ours, it's not very useful because we do have separate networks thanks to the network the Netgear switch being for all the NDI stuff and the Cisco stuff, Cisco switch for all the general networking. We want to keep NDI off the Cisco switch. It's a little bit tricky, and I couldn't get the vMix firewall rules to work properly. But if I really sat down and tried to work it out, I think I could probably sort that out. But But you know, you don't really want to have to force it like that with using the firewall to block it. Ideally, you'd be able to set it up so it actually tell it which network you want it to use. But which is another great thing about Dante, and that's why some people are looking at Dante AV is because it has better controls for all that, and the Dante controller is actually quite a useful tool for routing the signal. And diagnosing it, keeping track of, it's all clocked, gen-locked and stuff as well. So it's all synced up and everything like that. That's it. It's a more robust sort of a protocol, but
Got more.
I don't want to hear about this anymore.
Please. Got 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. I'll be right with you. So if Dante AV, if the ability to choose which network you're using, that's great. If NDI adds that in NDI 5, which maybe we're looking at like middle of July now. That's I think that'll be really good. They're also doing audio over NDI, which is obviously putting it in direct competition with Dante, which would be it could be a really good alternative for people who don't want to jump into Dante, but. The strength of Dante is there's so much hardware out there at the moment, and the software tools are quite good. So I don't know. I think if NDI can catch up on the audio side, then I don't know. I think that there's definitely a good use for it. We'll probably end up still using a mix of Dante and NDI because it is working pretty well for us at the moment. But we'll just jump to whatever technology is kind of the best available, I suppose. You want to stay on the cutting edge of things. We'll just keep trying stuff and seeing what works. I feel like I've run out of. There's some cheese. You've really settled into this, haven't you? You've got your kettle, your tea bags, your have you got 30 seconds? What else is news? I'm really looking forward to NDI 5 to see if the reliable UDP change is see if that has any improvements, if it's a bit more stable and reliable. I've got to wind it up. Look, that's my feelings about AV over IP at the moment. Thank you.
And that's 7 minutes in ever.
That is good shit.
Can we get a crane shot again, please?
Woo!
Yeah, I'm trying to get. Yeah, because you're gonna have a little sting and then grab that voiceover, put some reverb on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. I don't know if I'll include that whole thing in
I think you absolutely have to.
100%. Yeah.
If you don't do it, then I quit. I have artistic integrity. We both walk. You'll just have Kate. Sorry for poking you just then. I know how frigid you are.
Notoriously frigid.
Notorious frigid.
She's frigid.
Maybe we should crack on.
Personally, I think that's one of the. That was perfect.
What?
That segment.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I think you did a great job, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Did you learn something from that?
No. No, my soul left my body. I was walking the astral plane, my man.